This is an interview with Misfire on Sunday, January 24th, 2021 by Nick Perkel. Now, starting things off, guys, please introduce yourselves and tell me about getting your very first instrument.
Hey, what's up? I'm Sean. I play bass. I actually started off on guitar, but I myself ended up getting the bass spot. My dad got me my first guitar, and it was a Fender Stratocaster. It was all right, but then I discovered the Dean guitars, and that's what I've been playing since.
Yeah, my name is Jim Nicademus. I play drums in the band, and my first instrument was complete garbage. I love my mom and everything, but she didn't know how to pick drums. So I had like a dinky little like jazz kit for a little while, and then I convinced my parents to buy me a giant Pearl kit, which ended up being my kit for, I'd say, a good 5 years. So yeah, I was really grateful for that growing up. But yeah, Pearl drums was my first introduction to the world of drums.
This is JR, play guitar. My first instrument was a sax guitar from Walmart that eventually got stolen.
I think I remember that.
From a family member. Yeah. And that was about 10 years old, so I've been playing for roughly about 10 years. And after that, my dad's been pretty supportive and bought me the right instruments and equipment needed to sound badass.
Did you take any schooling or private tutors to advance yourselves as musicians over the years?
The only thing like that for me was junior high school band, which was essentially just hand technique and stuff like that. So as far as like the full drum set goes, I never took any lessons. I pretty much just watched like Metallica videos and watched Lars and some other drummers when I was getting started. Mike Portnoy, yeah, those DVDs and stuff were my training growing up. For the most part, yeah, like I said, I didn't really take any schooling. And same thing for guitar. I pretty much just watched JR, and I watched Conrad from Diamondplate, just watched how they played and just tried to get my wrist down. And after a little while, I was able to get that going too, luckily. So yeah.
Hey, Sean here. So I took one guitar lesson through the church that I was going to at the time. So it was a kid. So my mom made me go to church. But yeah, it was like this old hippie dude with just an acoustic guitar. So walk in there and I'm like, what's up with this? I wanted to rock. I was like super into Judas Priest and Black Sabbath and stuff like that. So I wanted to learn how to play those riffs. And the dude's trying to teach me like some lame chords. So I was like, can't do this. So yeah, I did one lesson and I was like, this is lame. So I just started, jamming on my own since then.
Did you take any schooling or private?
Oh yeah, I took lessons for about like a year and a half, learn how to read music and stuff. My dad said, you're not going to get a guitar unless you learn how to play guitar. So I was pretty much just like, I wasn't forced into it, but I've always thought guitar was cool. And I was taught by a jazz player pretty much, and the same teacher that Conrad Diamondplate had. And after that, I just like bought a bunch of Metallica books, and me and Jim pretty much taught ourselves after that. And the rest is history.
Can you tell me what you guys been up to musically since fall 2013? I remember getting an interview with Diamondplate published in the fall 2013, so just kind of want to just fill in the blanks right now.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of info regarding the Diamondplate split. That actually didn't happen until 2015. So from 2013 to 2015, Diamondplate wrote another record that just never ended up getting released for various reasons. It just didn't work out. So I took a break from writing music after that for a couple of years, got a normal job as a bar back, eventually a bartender. And then I got a call from my former manager who was opening up a venue that wasn't too far from me, and he had asked me if I would be production manager for that venue. So after not being around music for like 2 years, and then being at live shows every single day of my life, like it kind of inspired me to get back into it. And through that, I think a year into that, I think it was 2018, like December 2018, we actually formed this band, and I've been involved in this exclusively since.
Do any of your other bandmates want to say something?
Oh, hey, what's up? So, yeah, I've been doing a lot of shows with, of course, before Corona, was doing a lot of shows with a lot of cover bands here in Chicago. I'm in a Scorpions cover band, and I got some other projects going, but basically been doing that since I was 19. It's because of that, I think it led to like the kind of music I'm making now, and just made me a better player and stuff, being around a bunch of like seasoned veterans. But yeah, we've only been doing our thing for like 2 years and kicking out the tunes, having a good time.
Before this, after like splitting up with Diamondplate and all that stuff, eventually formed my own band called Atomize, and like pretty much atomized itself. Just like couldn't find a bass player to stick around.
Yeah, you're going back to like 2010.
Yeah. Well, that's like
yeah.
past 10 years have been like jamming with this cover band called Superfly Redneck, and been really helping me with like singing. I've been doing backups and stuff, do covers of like party rock and like 97.9 stuff that they would play in a loop. And then I've been in this Pantera band, Sandblasted Skin, for pretty much 10 years, and like I love playing dime bag stuff.
Yeah,
it definitely helps.
That's what gets your chops up.
Yeah, like definitely brings up the callus in your fingers. And then there's Jim. Like I knew if he was starting a band, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna end up being in this band. And yeah, he's like, you want to try out? I'm like, all right, well I got to get my life together, but yeah, I'm down. And here we are.
Yeah, you've been doing a great job since.
Now, Jim, how did the lineup for Misfire come together, and are you planning on keeping the band a three-piece?
Three-piece thing seems to work for me. Every time I try to get more than 3 people involved in a project, it goes to shit. It's just one of those things. Working with 2 other guys is kind of my limit, I think. It works out. Not saying, that things weren't great before, because the way that this band actually started was there was a local band called End of Anarchy or End of Sanity. I don't remember which one they went with, but long story short, I was supposed to be producer on their project, and down the course of a couple weeks or whatever after we started, the band ended up splitting up, and that kind of left the main songwriter alone. So we got together one night and talked about some stuff, and he offered me the opportunity to write songs with him and be in a band with him. He brought that up, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's give it a shot. Because like I said before, it's been a while since I've like written anything and all that. So I was pretty down for that. So obviously with just 2 guys involved, we needed to start looking for another guitar player, because originally we wanted to have it as a 4-piece. So we auditioned Sean for guitar, and he got the gig, but we didn't have a bass player. So he ended up playing bass. We recorded an EP like that, and then I think it was like 2 months or a month after we recorded that first EP, I gave JR a call, and he auditioned, and instantly, I mean, of course, me and him have been playing together since we were kids, so that was a no-brainer. And after that, we did a series of shows. We were writing some new stuff, and for whatever reason, I'm still not sure exactly what the reason was, but Tommy decided to quit. He was our original guitar player, and he decided to quit due to whatever. I think he was just having some issues personally, which is totally cool. I get that. That's the reason I actually quit Diamondplate, because I was going through stuff. So I totally understood that. And since then, we just remained this 3-piece, and Jay took doing, well, actually both of the guys sing quite a bit of stuff individually, but for the most part, I think we can all agree that Jay's the main singer in the band, and I think he's been doing a great job. Great job with that. And since then we've written like literally, 2 albums worth of material. To answer your question, we are staying a 3-piece.
Hell yeah, dude. And I just want to add real quick, I didn't get demoted to the bass or anything. I love bass. Bass is the shit. And I'm a big fan of the bass now.
Yeah,
I still like guitar too, but bass is where it's at.
Yeah, bass is one of those things it's like a mix between the drums and the guitar. So like, I should be good at it, but I'm not at all. This guy kills it.
Definitely puts the balls in the band.
Yeah.
Now, tell me how you recorded your debut, like the studio, engineer, etc.
Yeah, so we actually basically set up my house to be like a recording studio because I got my own place here. And you should see it now. We got it set it up to start recording our next batch of tunes. But it was a lot of fun. We wanted to keep everything in house and shit and keep it to ourselves. And I'm using Cubase, and we just ran through that PreSonus board. I was engineering everything and basically saying, hey man, you could do that better, or that was killer or whatever. Basically, my favorite mic out of the whole thing was the 57, Shure 57.
Can't go wrong.
No, it's the best one. I mean, we use that for everything. Oh shit, I don't know if I can sweat it. But anyways, we use that for everything. And one of the really cool things that was fun and also challenging was figuring out how to do this all ourselves. And I was very lucky, and I am lucky to be in a band with some killer players where I know we could get a good performance. So it was just a matter of capturing the lightning in the bottle. And the 57 was used for everything: bass, guitars, drums.
This guy put in a lot of work. Like, he built like panels and stuff for the tracking room. He turned the spare bedroom into a tracking room. Like, we literally, like, this is Misfire like headquarters. Like we have my drums set up so that way if we get an idea or something, we can just turn the mics on and capture like new music. It's pretty sweet. Like, it's a pretty cool setup. And as far as the mixing goes, we went with an old friend of mine from high school. I've actually known him for quite a while, and he started a business that is, the model's pretty sweet, actually. It's kind of a one-stop shop. So, he does mixing, he does recording, he does, I'm not trying to sound like a commercial, but he does it all. Like, he does video, and he's really great with it. So we got lucky enough. He had some free time, and he decided, hey, yeah, I'll mix it for you. And I personally think the combination is invaluable. Like, I think it sounds great. Like, we got all the time in the world right now with COVID going on, and we can record anytime here and then just send it off. And it's a really inspiring situation. It's a nice setup that we got.
Think about how you recorded the Generation Y and Pulse albums for Diamondplate. Did you take any knowledge from them into the recording for Sympathy for the Ignorant?
Absolutely, all of it. Like what to do and a lot of what not to do, for sure. The only one thing that I think that we could have changed with this is, like, this whole thing we didn't use a click track for. The first Diamondplate record, I think, sounded to me a little too robotic because we did use a click. And then the second record sounded a little too loosey-goosey. Like, the goal now for me is to figure out the balance between where we need to use a click track. It sounds funny, but like some songs don't need a click track and they feel better without a click track. But some songs, I think, the more driving stuff, like if the tempo starts to go down a little bit, like, it really affects how, like, the flow of the songs feels to you. Even if you don't notice it, like, and you only notice it, like, subconsciously, you're still gonna, like, have a negative effect when you listen to the song. So there's, like, intricate details, like, stuff that you don't really think about. Like, there's so much of that I learned from working with Neil Kernan. He was an amazing producer, and just working with those guys at that time was just really an amazing experience. So, yeah, I think the biggest thing that changed for me overall with both of those records was just focusing on the songwriting and, like, how the songs move, thinking of the riffs as like their own individual songs and building a playlist, AKA, like, arrangement stuff. Like, that stuff's what really gets me going to write songs. I'm like, oh, yeah, well, what if we try this arrangement, or what if we try that arrangement? Because there was a ton of that doing those two records. Like the songs changed quite a bit from the original demos, like quite a bit. So yeah, just the songwriting process in general, like that I learned doing those records, really carries over into what I'm doing now.
For the Misfire album, were there any songs that you chose to not use the click for?
All of them.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, every single one. Actually, so all those were actually the first take of the drums that I did for each song.
So that was your first try.
Yeah, first try. I was done. I think we did like a test day. We spent like a couple hours getting sounds, but really, I mean, the drums sounded great, like pretty much out of the gate. So
The first took the longest. Like, it was really like, we did like over 40 tracks of rhythm guitars.
we only ended up using a couple.
And we only used one boy. It took like a week. And I had my good days and I had bad days.
Because
anybody else?
The thing about not using a click, like it's fine for me because I'm the one going first, and we're all like, oh yeah, it's cool, it sounds great, everything's great. But then when you get into tracking 4 guitars and bass and vocals and all that stuff, like it's really hard to get those guitars like the same. And that's why that process, that's why it's so hard to choose between which way we're going to go. Because on the other hand, we go even more in depth and we still have to do all that extra guitar work. It's a little bit easier because it's all in time to a click, but the drums take longer because you have to make sure you're on time with all that stuff too. And then also you lose a little bit of the character, I think, so that's why it's just, I think next time we record an official release anyway, finding that balance is going to be something that probably will take a little bit of time, but it's going to be for the better, I think. Not saying that not any of these songs on this current album are lacking because of the lack of click track, but I think there's a lot of energy in this, and that's why I wanted to do it this way for this record. Is just I wanted it to sound like a band. I didn't want it to. I didn't want it to sound like overproduced, even though it sounds and the mix is great. I didn't want it to sound just robotic. Yeah, robotic. I didn't want it any quantizing or any fixing this and fixing that. Just wanted it to be like what you're going to see when you come see us.
That sounds exactly what I'm saying.
And that's how we tracked it too, with the thought process of just having a killer performance and getting it raw right there live without relying on a bunch of computer stuff because that ain't real.
Yeah, because when we did record drum tracks too, we were all playing together. We were in different rooms, but we were all playing together. So the scratch bass were also recorded live with me, which was nice. That definitely helped us judge what where the tempos were and kind of how it sounded. But like I said, we didn't really take too much time with that because there was just one take for every track and it was done.
Yeah. We have a video coming out for the making of this album. So there's not much drum stuff, but so fast. But definitely a lot of guitars.
It was funny. By the time we had the camera set up, he was done. So we're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Next time.
Can you tell me how the title track for Sympathy for the Ignorant has evolved over time?
Look at this past year.
So with that one, that's actually one of the only ones that hasn't really changed. I mean, since we wrote it, it was pretty much pretty solid, and that just comes from, like I said previously, like with the knowledge that I gained from my experience being in Diamondplate. Just like when we construct songs and typically I come up with the arrangement ideas most of the time. I know where to kind of not to put things and where to trim things out, and just a good flow for it. And that was one of the ones that just came together and stuck. I mean, the only obvious one is Tommy used to sing, and obviously Tommy's not in the band anymore, and JR singing, and I think it sounds fantastic the way it sounds now. So the only change really was just the different vocal.
Now, for each of you, what was your favorite song to record and why? Jim, go first.
Let's see. I'd say all of them, just because I literally tracked it in the day, so there wasn't really any separation emotionally. But I love how Fractured turned out, and that was the last one that we came up with the lyrics for. We actually recorded the song before we even had any idea where the lyrics were going to go.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like, I wrote that song twice, actually, the lyric for it, because the first one was just complete garbage because I was having a hard time, like, oh, well, the words got to go here and the words got to go here. But the second round turned out pretty cool, and I'm really happy with how that one turned out. That's probably my favorite.
Hey,
What do you think, Sean?
What up, y'all? My favorite one to play was No Offense, because it's got that cool bass thingy in there. So, of course, I'm partial to my bass. Tracking it was mostly fun. There were some times where I was like, yeah, I can't hear nothing now. My ears were just ringing out. But, yeah, my most fun to play is No Offense. But, I mean, all the tunes are my favorite. I love them all.
For JR and me, my favorite song probably on the whole EP, or not EP, the album, is probably He Said, She Said to play. I love that's a jam. Like, it's got like that, like straight to the like fucking core, like metal, like Metallica kind of, but like just like it's got like this new like fucking style pushed onto it. Like, I don't know, like this, that, like, tell you, but I don't know, it's just kind of like singing it and playing it. I love how the vocals and the guitar is like, it's just structure and everything, and all our songs,
What about your solo?
like lyrically, like everything's real life shit. But my solos,
Yeah, they were a lot of cool.
some crazy solos. I'd say the hardest one to record was probably the He Said, She Said, just because of the sweet picking.
What was the most fun?
The most fun solo that I did was probably LYS. It's just a straight shredder. Just pentatonic all the way. Like, that's the main thing. And then, like, lyrically, my favorite song lyrically is probably War of Mine. It's pretty much the first song I wrote lyrically as like as I started, as I became a singer, and then like coming back to where I said, like, I knew I was going to be in this band, and then I was like, I think I'm going to be the singer. And, like, for a second I thought the band was going to fall apart, but I'm glad it didn't, because it's like literally like my only release.
Yeah, we weren't sure what was going to happen for a second there, but with COVID and everything, and Tommy leaving and stuff, but we I'm digging where we're at right now.
Oh yeah, me too.
What kinds of things have you guys done to get fans out to the concerts despite dealing with COVID?
Well, we really haven't been playing concerts. We did one socially distanced, thing, and it was really hard to get people out because it's, it is what it is. We also tried doing some live streaming stuff. That was a lot of fun, and that's probably something we're going to continue to do. But yeah, COVID's like, it's crazy. It's really sad. It's taken a massive toll on our industry, man. There's venues closing every day. I don't know what's going to happen with our local venues here. It's bad, And I personally work as a lighting designer and a lighting operator for bands and for venues. And yeah, like, I've only had like a handful of gigs this entire year, so it's just a horrible thing. And we've tried to figure out how to get people involved in the band, but it's just so weird because concerts is like what we've always known as the way to get in front of an audience. So now what? It's a difficult path to find. We're all gonna find it, but it's not very clear as to where that path is currently. But getting involved in social media, getting involved and you're going to see a lot more of that from us. We're going to be doing a video soon. We're going to be being a little more active online and stuff with this next release. But yeah, like, as far as like actually playing shows,
I wish.
Yeah, we have one coming up, but again, it's like, minimum amount of people and restrictions. So it's not really like playing a show. It's like a show, but yeah.
COVID definitely like changed the music industry.
Yeah, it's really bad right now. But yeah, we're trying. I like the things that other people are doing with the Twitch and these podcasts, and it's pretty cool to see a lot of people jumping on these different platforms, because there's a sense of like, yeah, we're all in this together, and that's really cool.
For each of you guys, what are your 3 most cherished albums in your music collection?
My 3 all-time favorite albums is extremely difficult, but for the sake of not talking forever, I'd say Master of Puppets is number 1, just because if I didn't hear some of the stuff on that album, I probably wouldn't. Well, no, not probably. I wouldn't be the same musician or person, for that matter. Number 2 would probably be Blackwater Park by Opeth, because that album really helped me get into the progressive side of metal, and kind of thinking outside the box with some of those super long tunes. You know, also when I got into them, I was also heavily into Dream Theater. So, but I'd say Blackwater Park is like, yeah, up there for sure. Probably number 2. And then number 3 would probably be With Teeth by Nine Inch Nails, just because, I mean, if you're ever feeling uninspired, just like put on one of those songs and dissect the arrangement, and yeah, you'll be inspired pretty quick, because it opens you up creatively, for sure. What about you, Sean?
All right. So for me, first off, that's a tough question, man. I mean, because it definitely has changed throughout the years. But I was introduced to like rock and metal and stuff by my dad, and he was a big Kiss fan. But I wouldn't say Kiss is like among my most cherished albums. So I would have to say Scorpions Worldwide Live, because the Scorpions are badass. Hell yeah. I got it on vinyl, dude. Anyways, so Scorps for sure. I guess my number 2 would be Iced Earth, The Glorious Burden, because when I would have a show, you know, again, pre-Rona, like on my way to the gig when I'd be driving, I would put the song Declaration Day on before the show and get all fired up and ready to shred and rock. But yeah, so Scorps, Iced Earth, and then I wrote down Megadeth, Rust in Peace, Polaris. Megadeth, Rust in Peace, and my favorite track would be Polaris. But I mean, earlier today I've been listening to this Queen Greatest Hits vinyl, and damn, is it sounded really awesome. So see, that's what I'm saying, man. Like the most cherished albums changes, but as of right now, those are my top 3. All right, so for me, my most cherished album has to be like Ride the Lightning, Metallica, just because like.
Oh, Puppet, man.
No, Ride the Lightning. I say Ride the Lightning. Like that's when they found out like who they were and what they just sounded. They got their sound, but yeah, I remember one day my dad was like just like vacuuming the rug, and I was just being a lazy ass laying on the bed. And he's like playing Ride the Lightning. I never listened to the whole album all the way through, and that just changed my life. And like Jim gave me the album. He gave me like a bunch of CDs, and like he's like, just listen to this thing. You'll get into that. I started out listening to Jimi Hendrix and stuff like this. So I didn't even give it a chance really until like actually listen to it. And every song's a hit. It's catchy. And I was just like, boom, this is what I want to be, and like, this is what I want to look like and do, and change my life. And then so second album. This is a really hard question. Like second album, like I'd probably be like a Pantera album, like either reinventing the Steel or Far Beyond Driven, or even like Cowboys. Like I can't even describe. It's hard to choose a favorite Pantera album. So we'll just say Pantera, and then my third favorite band. I'm just gonna go from band to album. So Megadeth. I would say Peace Sells, because like when I bought that CD, me and Jim were just like, we didn't even know who Megadeth was back in 8th grade, and I bought the CD.
We were such heavy Metallica fans that we like didn't listen to any other bands, and we thought everything else sucked.
Right.
So when he got the Megadeth CD, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
It was like a clear division of number one, if you even tolerated Megadeth. Everyone was like, no, Metallica. And I was like, one of the few was like, well, I like both. And they'd be like, nah, man, one or the other. And I would be like, no, dude, they're both damn. They're different. You're Trader, like
Back in it.
Children of Bodom now. Dude, all right, Children of Bodom, really badass. R.I.P. Hey, Breeze, Lexi. Damn.
Yeah, those guys changed. Like, yeah, that was after I got over him not liking after I got over him digging Megadeth. That kind of
How'd you borrow it?
yeah, I dug it. So then we worked our way into Slayer and Anthrax and what was going on. That was like what in 8th grade. So like what was going on then? That was like Children of Bodom and Opeth and Arch Enemy and all those bands.
Yeah, Arch Enemy for sure. Arch Enemy is a sick band. It was Anthems of Rebellion.
Yeah, a lot of good albums.
Favorite urban legend or ghost story from Chicago?
The only one that I recall actually hearing about, not experiencing anything with, but hearing about was Bachelor's Grove, and that was somewhere that I actually found out was quote unquote haunted after biking through. Close by to it, it wasn't actually in the cemetery, but I was on a trail close to that bike riding, and I went. I heard about it, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I bike ride over there all the time. I guess there's been sightings of like when you're driving, like you're supposed to at a certain time of night or whatever, like you see like a fake car, not a fake car, but like a ghost car coming at you, and I guess it's caused like accidents. There's been a bunch of rumors, like I don't know. It's pretty spooky stuff, I suppose, but this isn't really something that I follow, like the ghost story stuff. But that's the one that I remember hearing about too. I guess there's like a lady too. There's like a lady and a kid or something like that. I don't know. You're not gonna catch me around any of those spaces. Yeah, I'm not going to the cemetery anytime soon.
Yeah, I actually went there one time. This was a few years ago, and but we went during the day. I went with my brother and a couple friends, and we went during the day. And I had heard stories like, there's like a ghost house, or we didn't see anything, but it did feel like I don't know, a little weird there, I guess. But I don't know. We went during the day, so I was like,
me and JR, good time, but I haven't seen a ghost as of yet. Like, I always go on YouTube. I look up all the spooky videos and all that stuff. I spook myself out and hide under the covers, like especially if I'm home alone. But like they got this 79th in between like Harlem and I think LaGrange or whatever. There's like Resurrection Mary. And, like, sometimes, I guess you can see her walking down the street and, like, she'll, like, try, like, she's got, like, a wedding dress on, and it's, like, a chick that's, like, in distress. So you should pick her up, and then, like, I heard that, like, she'll be in her back seat, and then she'll just disappear or something. Like, that was, like, crazy. Yeah, like, I'd be like, damn. But that's what's going on in Illinois.
Nice.
I'd be like, damn. Damn, that bitch fucking just ghosted me.
Would you like to go back to any questions?
I'm pretty happy with how that turned out.
Yeah, I think we didn't sound dumb, so we're cool, probably.
Final words.
I'm not sure exactly when the album's going to drop. There's some things going on behind the scenes as far as like distributing and just in general. But sometime this year we're going to be putting out our first full-length record, and I'm really happy with that. And I think I speak for everyone on that.
So yeah, hell yeah. This album's killer. It's gonna
Yeah. So
for a treat.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get back to playing shows, when things get under control, And if not, you can find us on Facebook and Spotify and Instagram and all that stuff at Misfire Official. And like I said, just keep your eye out because we're going to be putting out a lot of content.
Yeah,
very soon.
We got a lot of cool stuff in the works for you guys.
Thank you. This has been an interview with Misfire on Sunday, January 24th, 2021 by Nick Perkel.